Hi, Christina. Paul Bagan with Dale Carnegie Training. They say that a picture can paint 1,000 words. And I came up with this interesting idea. Why not give you a little bit of a demo of what my abilities are and how I could possibly be of some assistance to your organization? And so when the three of us get together and meet, um, everyone has a little bit of an understanding as to what I do and how I go about doing it. I'd like to set it up by saying that I'm going to be a life insurance individual. And I'm going to be selling life insurance policy or exploring it with a couple. It's a young couple. They have 2 children. They were referred to me by one of my current clients. So let's give this a go, see how it turns out, and we'll go from there. I hope that sounds good to you. Well, thank you so much for inviting me into your home. I really do appreciate and recognize how valuable your time is. No doubt, a young couple with 2 children, your time is pretty precious to you. So thank you so much for this time. In order to be respectful of one another's time, I would like to better understand your situation. As we had talked briefly over the phone, I've successfully have worked with a lot of young couples in helping them to plan for their future and to give them that added sense of security, in this case financial security. I don't know if or how I can be of assistance to you yet, but if you could take a little bit of time to answer my questions, that will give me a better understanding of where you are today, where you want to move to, and what you ultimately see your future to be. Would that be okay? Fantastic. Well, a good starting point always is, you got 2 children, I see, 2 girls. What are their ages? They're 8 and 10. All right, so they're at that fun year. What kind of activities are they involved in? Softball? Soccer? Sounds like what my girl, I have a boy and a girl, and my girl and boy both were involved in baseball and soccer. I know what it's like to be the soccer dad, the baseball dad, the coach, etc. How long have you been in your home? In 3 years. And you both are working? All right, great. And as far as with work, are you taking advantage of any of the plans that they may offer, like 401ks or anything along those lines? Well, you both are. Oh, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. You both would like to be, but right now you're not. Is there a particular reason why you're not taking advantage of that at the moment? Many of my clients, before I started working with them, they would say the same thing to me. Look, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I need all my money. And boy, don't I know it. I raised 2 children myself. I know how much money it takes to keep them involved and to keep them educated. Speaking of which, when it comes to education, what are your future plans for your daughters? Are you wanting to see them go on to college? You are. Oh, and that's because you're both college graduates yourself. And you're, okay, so what I hear you saying is you see that there'll be greater opportunities for them being college graduates. That makes sense to me. Both of my kids are definitely college educated. My son, he's still kind of on that 10-year plan. He's about 3, I think it's 3 or 6 units away from wrapping up his degree. But yeah, I recognize the importance of education too, and I'm glad that my kids move forward with that. What about your own future? I know you got a young family now, and I'm not talking about we look at the retirement home or anything, but what do you see? Do you have an idea as to when you would like to achieve, I kind of call it, for lack of a better word, critical mass, where you've been able to amass enough money that you don't have to worry about things that sometimes happen in life, disability, loss of employment, and even the passing of someone. So, do you have an idea of how you want your situation to look, let's say, down the road? Have you given any thought to how much money then you would have to be putting aside in order to reach that goal of retirement? You're telling me you'd like to retire around the age of 62, and your wife is saying that she'd like to retire even sooner than that. So what are the plans that you have in place that are going to help you get there? Okay, so there's no reason to feel guilty about that, but it's important to realize your reality. And your current as-is situation is that you're both working and you're both raising raising a family together, and it takes a lot of financial resources. And that's been one of the reasons why you haven't been willing or wanting to contribute to any kind of 401k, etc. Let me ask you another question. What about this? Have you ever thought about what would happen, or better yet, how would your daughters be impacted if overnight, for whatever reason, you had to say to them, we've lost $50,000 in income. That no longer is coming in. Yeah, it's not something you want to think about. It never is anything we want to think about. But the reality is that it could happen for a multitude of reasons. Is there anything that keeps you up? In fact, I want to rephrase it. What keeps you up at night? What causes you the most stress or anxiety? I see. Preparing for your daughter's future. In addition to that, what else? So, Joe, you're saying that you have a real concern about not being able to pay the bills. I really appreciate your openness and sharing with me that even having that fear that you might lose your home. There must be a reason why you have that anxiety. Could you share it with me? So what you've just shared with me is that your mother and father were middle class, working individuals. You had a family of 5, and suddenly your father became 100% disabled, and they weren't really prepared for this, so a lot of money that should have been coming in wasn't coming in. And then unfortunately, within a short span of time, your father passed away. And there wasn't any kind of safety net there. So you remember how your mother had to pull you all together and say, you know what, just for the moment, let's pull together as a family. Let's put our dreams on hold, and let's just live day to day and get through this. That's not what you want for your daughters. Is that a fair statement? Yet, the question is, could that possibly happen? I mean, we don't want to think about it, but could it happen? Absolutely it could. What happens, Joe, you've mentioned that you coach baseball. What happens if you send your catcher out there and you say to your catcher, oh, by the way, you're not going to have the mitt, and you're not going to have the face protection. I just want you to go out there, and when the pitch is given, you just be prepared to catch it. Yeah, that's stupid, right? Why? Injury could occur. So you plan to make sure that the injuries are minimized with a glove and with a mask. So then, in the event that the catcher misreads the pitch or an error occurs, the error is minimized. That's how we have to look at our future. We have to realize that we have to stop going out there without a glove and without face protection. We've got to have a good, strong strategic plan in place. Where do you want to be? Let's say, in your retirement years, what do you want it to look like? How much money is that going to require on a monthly basis? So, based on what you're sharing with me, we're really not talking about insurance. I'm with an insurance company, but that's not what we're speaking to. We're speaking to your daughter's future, your family's security, your ability to feel comfortable knowing when you could retire. And heaven forbid, if all of a sudden $50,000, $60,000 a year, $30,000 or $40,000 a year is no longer there, it's not going to rock the boat to the point where you just are staying up all night in a panic. I'm confident to share with you that if you elect to work with me, we can work together to develop a strategic plan that will give you that sense of security that you're looking for and the future that you want for your daughters. Does that sound good to you? All right. What do you see to be the next step? I agree with you. Let's schedule another time, and I'll send to you in an email a few things that I need you to pull together, and then we'll have what I call a strategy meeting. We'll strategize. We'll take a look at where you are today, where you need to be, and what we need to put in place. And we is very important. I want to be part of that process with you. I'm not here to just sell you a policy. I take great pride in working with my clients in getting them to that point of realizing their dreams. Thanks so much, both of you, for the time that you've given me. I'm very excited about our next meeting. By the way, what are we looking at? This same time, say next week. Would that work for you? All right. Works with me too. I'll send you an Outlook reminder because you both use that, do you not? Okay. I'll send you out an Outlook appointment reminder. I'll see you next week. All right. Well, like I always like to say, stay healthy. We'll see you in a week.